This is James with WSTrades.com. I want to provide an update here on ticker AVTX or Avalo Therapeutics. So I think I got a comment on one of the videos asking to review this stock, so I decided to take a look at it. And of course I saw this massive gap here on the chart. This thing was trading above the $4 mark and it dumped below $1 in one trading day, and it was due to some bad data here from a trial. So it says Avalo says trial of AVTX 002 did not meet primary endpoint, shared slump. And yeah, you could call that a slump. I mean, that's about a $4 move down in one day, which is pretty wild. So that was a huge sell off there. And then it just kind of trickled out here, and then it had a little pump up here, a little bit of a dead cat bounce here, or a bump up to 30 cents, and then it quickly sold off and came back down to 9 cents. And then it had this 16% pump on Friday, so it had a gap up, a big sell-off, but some good volume there. So it had a pretty good pump there. And they did recently release a story, some more positive news here for them, saying they have entered into a purchase agreement to divest AVTX 800 series. So it says that Avalo Therapeutics announced it entered into a purchase agreement with AUG Therapeutics to sell its rights, title, and interest into this AVTX 800 series line. So it says AUG will pay an upfront payment of $150,000 as well for each compound, make a contingent milestone payment of $15 million. So this could be a potential aggregate of $45 million if the first FDA approval is for an indication other than a rare pediatric disease. So that's defined in the purchase agreement. And it also says additionally, AUG will assume up to $150,000 of certain liabilities incurred prior to the date of the purchase agreement and assume all costs related to the 800 series from the date of the purchase agreement. It's expected to close in the fourth quarter of 2023. So, there are some contingencies here. This is not a guarantee here, but you do see some of the potential revenue that could come in to Avalo. So let's kind of take a look through some of their financials and kind of see what this would mean, if they were getting milestone payments of $15 million. Let's just say this does work out and this happens. So let's kind of take a look here in Yahoo Finance. If we look at the income statement, you can see that their earnings or their net income common stockholders, it's negative every year. And there's some pretty big numbers in here. If you look at 2021, they lost $84 million in earnings. 2022 was quite a bit better, where they lost $41 million. But then right here, the last 12 months, they still lost $24 million. So I'd say they desperately need, something to come in here and kind of help them out when it comes to the earnings. If we look at cash flow statement here, you can see operating cash flow. It's kind of up and down here, but yeah, 2021 was pretty brutal. They lost $70.8 million in operations. But the last 12 months has been better. It's kind of turned back towards a better direction here, where they have lost $19.2 million. If we come to the free cash flows, very similar numbers down here. You can see that 2021 year, free cash flow was negative $71 million, free cash flow negative $19.3 million. So, those possible payments coming in of, $15 million, a total aggregate of $45 million could really help them out. They need it because they're really bleeding a lot of money here. If we come in and we look at the balance sheet, most years here out of the last 4 years, they have actually had positive common stock equity, but for 2022, you can see that went the wrong direction, and they actually had negative book value per share there, or negative common stock equity. Let's take a look at the quarterly, because I think I saw negative on that as well. Yeah, but you can see the last, 5 quarters or so, they're consistently having negative common stock equity. So they kind of swung from a few years of having positive common stock equity, and now the last few years they went in the wrong direction, and now they have negative book value per share. So let's look at the statistics tab as well here. And pretty brutal numbers here. They do need some of these FDA approvals to come through, and they do need to start getting in tens of millions of dollars, because we look at the statistics tab here, it's pretty brutal. But this is typical of some of these therapeutics companies. They're looking to get things approved, they're looking to get things sold, and this is what a lot of their financials look like before they really start to get sales from some of their drugs and stuff. So profit margin negative 146%, operating margin last 12 months negative 122, Return on assets, last 12 months, pretty rough at negative 45%. You can see the last 12 months, 16.96 million in revenue. The quarterly revenue growth year over year, down 37.8%. EBITDA is negative 20.56 million. The diluted EPS is in the negative at $1.78 the last 12 months. Their current ratio is pretty sketchy, which again, a lot of these, therapeutics companies, this is what, their finances look like. There you can see that negative book value per share there. So based on the most recent quarter, they had 6.3 million in cash, or 6.31 million in cash there, but you can see they burned through a lot of cash through operations in the last 12 months. We talked about that, right? Negative 19.29 million. So the 6.31 million is not even going to last them a year in operation. So for me, this is not my type of investment. If you've been watching our channel, watching my videos, you can probably already tell that this is not something that I'm going to buy, because I just don't buy companies that are hemorrhaging a ton of money on earnings and, bleeding a bunch of money on the cash flow statement and, have negative book value per share. But, for those out there that might want to take a little more risk, and get into something cheap like this, it's definitely a high risk, possibly high reward type of an investment. If these guys end up pumping out a bunch of products and a bunch of drugs that get FDA approved down the road, this could end up paying off in the long run. But for me, this is just not something that I would buy. But I wanted to, I saw the comment, saw people requesting an analysis on it, so I just wanted to give an update here and do some analysis and kind of talk about what I think about Avalo Therapeutics. So I'll continue to keep you updated here. Please like this video. Please also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate you for taking the time to watch this. Talk to you soon.